Early in 2012, on the back of the System Centre 2012 release, we took a national System Centre 2012 roadshow across Australia, talking to people like yourselves about the benefits of System Centre 2012. With the recent release of Service Pack 1, we wanted to just record a couple of videos to give you a refresher on those features that we talked about with the RTM release and give you an update on some of the features included in Service Pack 1. So this session we're going to focus on System Centre 2012 Orchestrator. Now Orchestrator is a process automation tool that simplifies data center management. So in Microsoft's product portfolio there was a real gap around data center automation. Sure, they had BizTalk, and BizTalk's been around for a number of years, but BizTalk was fairly limited in the automation capabilities that it could deliver, and it came at a significant cost. So Orchestrator really fills that gap, and it's on the back of the Appalis acquisition that Microsoft made a couple of years ago. So the real power of Orchestrator is delivered through the integration with the existing systems. Having a product like Orchestrator in the middle enables us to connect different systems together, so ultimately optimizing our heterogeneous environments. Because when you think about it, we have a number of different tools deployed in our environment, a number of different systems deployed in our environment, but most of them don't talk to each other. So when we need to make changes, we need to be jumping into individual products to make those configuration changes or perform particular processes. So having a tool like Orchestrator means we can have a single tool that enables connectivity to multiple different systems. So how do we do that? So when we install the Orchestrator product, out of the box it includes 82 activities. And with those activities we build these complex runbooks that enables the automation. So activities can include things like run a script, run a command line, create a file, send an email, monitor the event log. Simple activities like that that you would expect to be able to perform on a system. But the real power of this solution is when we import integration packs. So an integration pack is product specific, so Microsoft maintain a large number of integration packs for things like Active Directory. All of the System Center components have an integration pack. Exchange. Microsoft even maintain an integration pack for VMware. So what that means is when we import an integration pack into Orchestrator, we set up a connection to that system. So we might connect to Active Directory. We type in a domain or a number of domain controllers that we want to talk to and some service details about how we connect and authenticate to that system. Once we've done that, the integration pack gives us a number of activities that are very much product specific. So for Active Directory, it might be things like create user, create a group, delete a computer. Things as an AD admin you would expect to be able to do. So those activities, then we can use them as part of our runbooks. But we might also want to connect to another system, and that could be a non-Microsoft system like a service management tool like Infra. So there's an integration pack for Infra available. We can connect to Infra, we establish that communication, and then we can use activities that are product specific like create an incident. And it might be when we've created a user as part of a runbook that we want to go and create a service request or something like that, or a change perhaps within Infra. So you can see how using a broker in the middle like Orchestrator, we can start to have a single runbook that performs activities in multiple different products. But we're still just executing and just monitoring that single runbook. So that's really important. Now, in addition to the integration packs that Microsoft develop, there's a number of third-party software vendors that also develop integration packs, and they're commercially available. Also, there's a fairly strong community of Orchestrator management packs, integration packs available that you can download and import as well. But if you find that you want to connect to a system that there isn't an integration pack available, there's also the Microsoft Quick Integration Toolkit, and that gives you some prescriptive guidance around how you can build your own integration packs and save them. And if you feel so, make them available to the community to share as well. Now with all of the, we've got the integration packs imported, we've got all the activities available, we want to build some flexible process workflows. So the way we can do that is we drag activities from the activities toolbox onto our workspace. And this is where we're building out our runbooks. We can have a number of different conditions in those runbooks. So for a user, we might have, before the runbook starts, we request some input from the end user, like username, first name, last name, department of the user that we need to create in AD. Then we start to kick off a runbook that might include activities like create the user. Then we detect if that was successful, we might go and create a mailbox. If that was successful, we go and create a home drive. Then we'll write some details to the event log and send an email to say it's complete. So you can see how those workflow, we can have sequential activities or parallel activities, and we can have some success criteria around that as well. Orchestrator, the infrastructure required to deploy that, is extremely simple too. In most organisations, you could start out with a single Runbook server, but then as utilisation dictates, we could start to scale out that solution and introduce additional Runbook servers to cater for the load. And because we're starting to automate activities, we're building these Runbooks that are mature and they're traceable and they're repeatable, we start to get a reliability across all the tools that we've got deployed. Rather than relying on, say we have a user provisioning process and the process is manual. Sure, it might be well documented, but there's a number of manual activities. And it might be jumping in our HR system and making some configuration, opening the Active Directory users and computers console, making some configuration, going into Exchange. If we're relying on manual processes, there's always a possibility that things will go wrong. Or steps might get missed because people become complacent and just think that they know everything that needs to be performed. So now we're delivering consistency and reliability. But in addition, we're adding efficiency because we're taking away those mundane IT operational tasks from our IT team and allowing them to focus on things. They might want to develop better processes or make more processes available to our end users. And we can initiate the execution of those runbooks from multiple sources. So we've got the Runbook Designer tool, which is where we build our runbooks. But within there, we can also debug and troubleshoot and test our runbooks. But we can start the execution of those runbooks. In the Runbook Designer, we get all of the logging. So we see who and when started a runbook execution and what the state was of each activity within that runbook when it completed. In addition to the Runbook Designer, we've got the Web Console. So the Web Console we can set up for our end users to be able to access and request runbook execution. We can have some security around the runbooks that are sitting in there, so we can limit which users can see what particular runbooks. But most time, if you've got Service Manager deployed, you would initiate the execution from Service Manager. And the way that works is through the Orchestrator web service. So the web service enables other tools to initiate the runbook execution. Service Manager talks to the web service to start runbooks. But if you've got other tools in your environment, you can set them up a connection to the web service as well to initiate a runbook execution. So Service Pack 1 didn't introduce new features as such, but it has added new integration packs. Because when it comes down to the Orchestrator solution, it's been fairly consistent as it's very much like Visio. It's a platform for creating solutions. So the integration packs are where we get all the value. So with Service Pack 1, there's a number of new integration packs focused on Exchange. There's an Exchange admin integration pack that allows us to go through things like Exchange message store provisioning, mailbox creation. And then there's the Exchange user integration pack as well, where we can start to manipulate a user's mailbox. We might want to access emails and read and delete emails as well. And then there's been a number of updates to existing integration packs, adding new functionality. There's an update for the Active Directory integration pack, HP Service Manager, the Operations Manager, Virtual Machine Manager 2012, and as Microsoft's commitment to maintaining these enterprise class products, they've made an update to the VMware vSphere integration pack as well to support vSphere 5. So to migrate to Orchestrator 2012, if you're coming from a Parlous, then we're going to be looking at new integration packs, better ways to handle your runbooks. So you're going to reuse the existing investment that you've made in developing those processes, but you will need to recreate them in 2012. If you're coming from an environment that doesn't have any data center automation or is using another tool, then what you want to think about is making sure that your processes are well defined, even if they are manual. And what we can do is we can help you automate those processes. So we can take what you've documented and help you understand exactly what needs to occur to make sure that we can automate that process as well. If you don't have well-defined processes, then our strategic consulting practice can help you understand exactly what it takes to develop those processes as well.